Welcome to the first episode of Sex, Money, Guns.
Yes.
I'm Miss Perez.
Coach V.
And today here we have...
Roderick Fats Murray, owner and operator for Son Couture.
Thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome.
For our first episode.
Yes, yes. How you feeling today?
I feel good. I'm just blessed. New day.
We're filming today from the Hillsmere Restaurant and Bar located on Bel Air Road. They have great wings. You got to come out and try them.
Yes, they're absolutely delicious. Absolutely.
Great ambience so far. Nice, chill, laid back, comfortable spot.
So basically on this podcast, we talk about sex, which doesn't mean, intercourse or anything like that. Basically, relationships. Then we talk about money, which the entrepreneurship, and then the guns, the pros and cons.
Second Amendment.
Correct. So you have a question for me?
Sure. So we could get off with the relationships. So what is your stance on the role of consent and boundaries in a healthy sexual relationship? Like, what are your boundaries? Or in a relationship, period. Let's talk about some boundaries that you feel that should be set in a relationship.
I think to respect one another. That's one of the going things. I think everybody should respect each other's privacy, no matter if y'all, together. Respect each other's privacy. Like I said, my biggest thing is respect, and everything else, follows with respect. And communication is a factor with me too. But like you said, when it comes to boundaries, it's just respect. Like respect. You respect my boundaries, I'll respect your boundaries, and so forth and so on.
Okay. Well, for me, I follow through with the respect. The communication is kind of tough, but it's not mainly just communication. You gotta be comprehensive. Like, you gotta understand where the individuals are coming from to really properly communicate. That's just my opinion.
I know we talked previously, and you talked about more of the non-traditional type of relationship versus what society defines as a traditional type relationship. And I think that I agree. I feel like everybody should set their boundaries or what in terms of their relationship. It's not a one-size-fit-all. Everybody's relationship doesn't have the same, and you shouldn't shame anyone if their relationship doesn't look the same. It's more so what those two people in that relationship determine are their boundaries with each other.
So that like I'm a very unconventional person. That's just me. I respect tradition, and also I think some traditions are just outdated. To me, to meet a woman, to be a man, you don't need tradition to be a man. You have to understand manhood, and you have to treat someone how you want to be treated. I think that to me, a lot of traditions go back to gender roles. I mean, in this day and time, to me, slam it out the door. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because they were only gender roles based on a woman's economical status back in those times.
Those days, yeah.
So now when the feminist movement came into play, which had nothing to do with women of color, they adopted it after a while. It was about, the woman coming from under the foot of the man and wanting to be equal. You understand what I'm saying? So feminism, some parts of it, that's a woman's thing, but some of it I respect. Some of it I respect.
So you say equal. So do you feel like in today's society, does a woman that is making more money than the man, should the woman help the man?
Why wouldn't she?
Or because men that make the money always help a woman.
I think women have always assisted the man. You know, I think women have always assisted the man, and men have always assisted the women. I just think that, the propaganda, the things that are being spread, I think the conversation when it comes to men and women, the conversation focuses on too much of money. You know, because it's always going to be an imbalance in a relationship, friendship, or whatever ship when you come in the door. She may have more than me this. I may have more than her in that. She may have more shoes than me. She may have more cars than me. Like, who cares? Like, that's something that's minute, and people pay attention to that because that's how society says that, a woman that makes more money. No, when it comes to money and power, men and women, we both love it.
Yeah, it's a way, like you said, it's a give and take, and so one might have more than the other, and that's where the balance comes from. And the balance doesn't have to mean that it's equal, as long as everybody does their part. I think that's what creates the balance. And even when, I've seen some cases where on paper somebody makes more money, but that person that makes less money might have more liquid, more net worth than that person that makes the more money. So, it's a lot of factors in that. It's not just about who has the biggest salary. Sometimes you got people that make less money and they're better managers and investments. Got other things going on.
That's true. So, based on that, we're on the topic of money and relationships, right? I'm a numbers guy. Like, I like to look at the reality of stuff, right? And if you have so many people that talk, oh yeah, I got money, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this. If everybody getting money, like, who doing bad?
Right.
Because the percentage of people in this country that make 6 figures or better, it's a very small number.
Right.
Do you think so?
Yeah, very small number. Like, the percentage of men, right? I'm gonna just say men for a second, that make over $100,000 a year is probably like 17%. When we're talking about 300 and whatever the number million people that are in America, and this is not talking about white men, this is talking about men, period. And a percentage of women that make 6 figures, over 6 figures a year, it's a small percentage. So if everybody was getting money, then why would we need any assistance from anyone?
Yeah. That's true.
So that's just how I look at it. We all have these money conversations. Money. I think that I've met women who have been established as far as money. One thing about women who have paper, who are established, the last thing they want to talk about is money. They want to get to know you because they know that they're not meeting you for money.
They want the companionship.
They want the companionship. Just like men with money. Most men with money, some of them will talk trash and they'll brag or whatever. But a sensible man with money, he's not worried about how much money she has because he's coming in for companionship, and 9 times out of 10, sometimes coming in for control. You know what I'm saying? Most men with money, they date down. They don't want a woman with no money. A lot of women with money, they date down too. They're just not gonna, some women are not gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, companionship, if you wanted a man with some money, what you have or more than what you have, then that's what you would go look for. Because one thing about people with money, especially men with money, you may be his main chick, you ain't his only chick. Because that's just in a man's mind. That's just what he do. Chill out. Blah, blah. I pay the bills. I do this. Right. I do what I want to do. So sometimes having riches and certain things, it comes with an ego with men and women.
Yeah,
that's just my opinion.
No, it's a good perspective.
I don't know. I just think back to just like me as a young person, pretty much dating. I would just let a guy know, like, just upon meeting him, like, there's nothing you can do for me. I have my own money. I take care of myself. I take care of my daughter. If you can't offer me some type of companionship, and by companionship, I don't mean that you had to be my boyfriend or you had to be my husband, but just chemistry, something to do, somebody to hang out with, those types of things, then, because of that stigma. And with me being a young female, I always felt the need to put that out in the forefront. Like, there's nothing you can do for me financially that I can't do for myself. I do it for myself. I've been doing it for myself, and I had a very hard time accepting gifts from men. I would Christmas and birthday, I would accept that, but outside of that, I really didn't accept anything. I didn't allow my daughter to accept anything from anybody.
I've been there.
So,
But we have to ask ourselves sometimes. I think sometimes as individuals, we're so hard on ourselves. We have to realize, like, I became a parent when I was 26. You became a parent, how old were you?
19.
19. We were kids. We were actually kids. So we were still trying to figure out life at the same time, bringing life into this world. So sometimes we're so hard on ourselves. Like, a lot of us, we didn't figure it out till we was 24, 25, 26. That's when we start to scratch the surface of what life is about. So at the same time, the person that you chose to have a baby with, this person was a kid too. You know what I'm saying? He was a kid. He didn't have nothing established or anything like that. So y'all both, your expectations as a mother, right? His expectations as a father, y'all really don't have a clue. Now, some people may boil down and, if they have good parents to say, listen, got this little young lady pregnant, boom, 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 XYZ. Right. We're going to assist you. We're going to help you. You understand what I'm saying? You may have been in a position where as though you didn't have nobody. I'm not saying that you didn't. So it works a crazy way. So you're trying to grow and you're expecting all of this help and this, that, and the third. But guess what? Y'all both don't have no money. Y'all both don't have nothing. So I think as we grow as individuals, I think we are so hard on ourselves when it comes to certain things, because a lot of us really didn't truly start to really mature, in my opinion, and understand life until we hit maybe the late 20s, early 30s.
I would say early 30s.
Yeah,
when I look back at myself,
yeah.
I mean, I was doing it, but early 30s. And I think that, so I bring it back to, that's the impact that we see now in the relationships with the financial thing, those things that we went through when we were younger, bringing that stuff into the forefront of our relationships. And just, I think I look back and I think our parents were much different than what we were. I think our generation is much different than the things that our parents did, even economically, financially. I saw a big difference in our parents and us now.
Yeah, but you have to realize what our parents endured. A lot of our parents were born in the 40s, the 50s, the 40s and the 50s. You understand what I'm saying? So some people mid-30s, depending on how old the individual was, they experienced America. They experienced America and what was going on in America. They experienced where as though, we can't go there because this group of people was there. The cost of living, the job market. Our parents endured all of that. So after 68, the March on Washington, you understand what I'm saying? You got to think about it. We only had the right to vote since like 1968.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
You understand what I'm saying? So this is what our parents endured. So then, what a black man went through back then, in the 60s and 70s. You understand what I'm saying? The support that women gave men back then. So then they bring us into the world in the 70s, 71s, the 72s, the 73, the 74, the 75s. So guess what? Papa at the time, he probably was trying to work to take care of the family, or Papa was probably trying to find a job. Whatever the situation that was going on. You understand what I'm saying? We don't know if Papa's Papa left Papa. Right. You understand what I'm saying? Papa may have been a abusive person based on what was going on at that time. So a lot of us, let's keep it real, a lot of us didn't grow up seeing healthy relationships. No. We didn't. A lot of us grew up with our fathers. We just did. Right. The father left the house for whatever the father left the house for, the father left the house. So a lot of times we got to look back at a lot of the things that we've experienced in life, and we gotta sometimes say, this where this may come from, as far as my behavior, as far as my actions. Like, I kind of get it honestly. You understand what I'm saying? And
that's the reason for we go back to the non-traditional and the traditional boundaries. The boundaries were different back then because the circumstances were different back then. Everything is different now. You hear a lot of times people say, well, women want certain expectations out of men, but those women aren't the women
Back then.
Yeah, back then, absolutely. They didn't stay home and care for the whole household. The women didn't do as much as they do for some men. Feel like the women did more for the men back then, and so the boundaries or the way that you establish your relationship you can't expect it to be the same. You can't look back and say how things were for grandma or your mother, because society is different now. The roles are a little bit different now.
Yeah, because it's all about how you were raised or how they were raised, because their parents, the mother, was probably independent and not worried about a man in the house.
When back then?
Yeah.
You needed a man back then. You needed a man back then.
Well, grandparents, mothers,
you needed a man back then because, again, let's look at it realistically, economically. Some women were in the workforce. Most women weren't in the workforce like that. You understand what I'm saying? Most women, was home taking, like if you want to take it back to our grandparents' time, most of our grandparents had 16, 17 kids.
Yeah, so I agree with what you were saying, and that our mothers were more so the single moms, whereas our grandparents were the ones that had a man in the household while they raised the kids. They didn't work. But I definitely think that our generation, our mothers, were probably the start of that single parent type situation. Single parent. A lot of us were raised with step parents. Later on in our childhood. So yes, I do agree with that.
Like
the family dynamic changed.
My parents were married when I was born. I didn't see a healthy relationship. I didn't. I ain't gonna fool you. I didn't see a healthy relationship. But one thing that I did see after a while, I saw a strong woman raise 5 sons and a daughter. After a while, by any means necessary. How it was to come. We were raised, like I said, again, some things are just passed on, and things, we're human beings, we're creatures of habit. We learn from, the past. Just think about it. Most females in some of the environments we come from, the heroes was dope dealers, drug dealers.
I was gonna get to that.
That's most females growing up. Their boyfriend was a drug dealer. They didn't deal with a dude that worked this place, worked in a hospital, a good percentage of females where we come from, their boyfriend was a hustler.
But with the exception of me.
Yeah.
Because I gotta say, I didn't, I'm not gonna say it wasn't like.
It wasn't always.
I'm not going to say it didn't look good. But for me, the reason why I never chose to have that for myself is because I didn't want anything taken away from me.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was the inevitable in those types of relationships. Eventually, he was going to be taken away. The things that you own were going to be taken away, and so I chose not to pursue those type of relationships because what was mine, and I didn't want it taken away.
Like me and the brother, we was talking before the cameras got to roll, and I was saying to him that was one of the reasons why I never really got into a relationship.
Right.
Because my life messed up. Why I'm going to break? Because if they come to get me, they come to get you too. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times they'll ask me, well, why you in that? And I'll be saying to myself, like, I'm explaining my point to you. What do you want me to tell you? I can't. I can only live my life the way I live my life, and that's how I've always lived my life, the way that I wanted to live my life.
And I can respect that. I'm sure it probably was hard if somebody was interested or had feelings for you, but I would respect you taking that stance and that you didn't want to involve anybody else in the lifestyle that you chose.
There was a lot of people I really liked, but I knew my truth.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to say because I really like you, sweet. And I've met a lot of great, beautiful women, character-wise, everything. But I knew I wasn't going to stop doing what I was doing. So, like, to get me to stop or think you're trying to make me stop, I'm not going to stop.
Right. Unless you're ready to stop.
Unless I was ready to stop. But I was respectful enough not to ever bring that part of my life in their
Yeah,
direction.
world,
So
yeah.
so I was respectful, you know, in that realm.
So we want to talk about the entrepreneurship part, right? We know that you have a clothing line. Can you give us
Brand.
Sorry.
I think that word line, like I just feel as though I brand, like I brand myself.
Okay.
My inspirations and my aspirations is just, I've always loved fashion. I've always been a person that was into color. Like, you know, in the 90s, I used to come around with some like pink and purple Asics. My homeboys like, man, what? I always thought color meant something. Color signified, you know, being live, being livid, and just to see the colors of nature. So, you know, over time, like I've been around guys who've actually influenced me. You know, a couple of my older peers that, you know, that were into fashion. I looked at them, I emulated them. And, you know, it was a time when I grew up, my mother couldn't afford certain things, but once I told my mother when I was like 17, like, what, you don't have to buy me nothing no more. I'm gonna take care of myself. But I'm gonna take care of myself. But so I've always been into fashion. Like my favorite era of fashion is like the 90s fashion.
So like the Tommy Hills and
the Tommy Hill figures, the polos,
So were you a lowlife?
Nautica.
Yeah, I was definitely into the polo and Tommy Hill figure, like really heavy back then. Abercrombie and Fitch, I wore that a lot. I wore Structure. I wore a few things, but my main selection of clothing was Tommy Hill figure, polo, and Abercrombie and Fitch, and the Gap.
Gap. Okay.
I love the Gap.
Gap.
What was your favorite? Gap.
I still love the Gap. The Gap has just changed a lot, but
I feel like the '90s fashion was the best.
the best. Yeah.
I think it was more. The '90s fashion was actually colorful too. '90s fashion was also colorful too. I think that
It was very colorful.
it was actually very colorful. I think that just the aura of everything, just watching certain things, how it unfold. Y'all remember the rhinestone jackets? I just seen a guy, I know a guy that actually, shout out to Anthony McNutt, he actually makes them. You know, I seen him with a nice jacket. Like I said, I respected the baggy jeans, but some of them was like too baggy. You know, you're a size 2X, but you got on a 5X, jacket, you know, but it was all part of the culture. I think the baggy clothing, I think that came more so in the skateboard era, like the skating era, because that's how it was in Cali, then New York.
Right.
It was like things, you know, being baggy back then.
So I had to shout out Roderick. He styled me today. So
On the other side,
so this is a custom denim
jean shirt.
jean shirt,
Nice.
and he also picked out my sneakers. He's trying to get me out of the black. We were having a conversation about some custom things. I was trying to get some black custom things, and he asked me, well, what other colors do you wear? I said, well, I will wear white and gray.
No, I think that, you know, like every time we talk, I'm like, well, what you gonna wear? I'm gonna wear black. Why? But I understand because I actually talked to a few of my homeboys, and I got them wearing different colors now. Like when she was like, well, all right, I'm gonna do something different. So I'm like, cool. I think people wear black because of comfort, because it makes their body look a certain way, slims them down if you're a thick person or things of that nature. But I also think that black is also a color of dominance. You know what I mean? It's a color of superiority, even if you want to get down technically, you know, to everything. Everything starts in darkness. If you was to plant a seed inside of the ground, it's triple stages of darkness, so it comes up into light. So I get it, you know. However, I think that when it comes to skin tone, when it comes to just style, I mean, see yourself in something else. Because if everybody, you know, her husband one day was showing me her part of the closet. I said, well, what's all the black stuff in there? Well, this is her stuff. I'm like, what? The only thing that had a little bit of color on it was the sneakers.
Oh, wow.
And then they had majority black. So, you know, I think color is the essence of everything.
Do you feel like you're gonna get yourself, you know, just motivation of changing the outfit, you're gonna change your wardrobe?
I think she will.
I will wear more whites in the summertime. I will. You know, I used to wear all white all summer when I was in the workforce. I would, you know, be all black all year round, and then this summer I would go to all white. Everything all white.
That's a color that I could never really handle, like white, not because I didn't like it, because I always seemed to, when I had on white, want to eat something that had something that was red, whether it was a hot dog, whether it's a hamburger, something red would always end up on white. So that's why a lot of times
they're like, how do you you're never dirty? I had a friend one time kick mud on me. We were at a picnic, and we were out there. It was kind of muddy that day, and everybody had, you know, seemed to have gotten dirty. And he looked and said, "How do you have on this all white and you're the only one not muddy and dirty?"
So he took it upon himself.
And he kicked mud on me. We were adults, we weren't kids. But yeah, I always managed to keep the white clean. I don't know how I did it. Even when working around kids, you know, but I don't know.
I just always been inspired by fashion. Like, I think fashion is the artist inside of you. I think fashion is freedom. I think fashion is like about, you know, just being radiant, looking nice, looking your best, smelling your best, you know. And, you know, we take it back. I mean, we fellas, we take it back. I'm gonna look nice. I'm gonna look nice for me, but it's gonna get me the attention of the ladies, you know what I mean? So, and women love well-groomed men.
Especially when you coordinate.
Yeah, you know, and I think sometimes I like to coordinate sometimes, but I also, color blocking is my thing. I love color blocking. Sometimes I like to do something crazy and just like something crazy. Sometimes I don't want to match. Sometimes I want to wear this with this, with that, with this, you know, but color blocking is actually my thing. I like to put colors together. Like I was, you know, saying to her, just like on the jean shirt, what color should I go with? So I'm thinking her poly colors, let's go with gray, red, you know what I'm saying? Like something that will bring something out, you know? Right. So, you know, that's just what type of person I am. And like I said, fashion is how I express myself, because I always like to look neat. So fashion is how I express myself.
So with the entrepreneurship, can you highlight the benefits of starting a business?
The benefits of starting a business is, number one is just, putting it out there. Putting it out there. I think putting it out there, following your passion. I think that you have to love something in order to start something. Because if you just have a like for it, or it's just a hobby, it's going to get kind of boring to you and you're going to walk away from it. Right. But I think that, you know, when it comes to entrepreneurship, if you want to set your own schedule, you want to be who you are, you want to create something that the world may like, I think entrepreneurship is definitely the way. But everybody is not meant to be the boss. Some people are content with, you know, working and someone just, you know, handing them something. So I understand, I get it. But with me, I like to be the boss. I like to be the boss.
24/7.
24/7. So when people see me, they be like, well, you just home, you ain't doing it. No. Having and building a brand takes a lot of money and research. Money and research, so you can't, like me and her, we'll talk sometime. So what you doing? I'll be like, I'm on my computer. Oh, I get it. You know what I mean? Because you gotta search for the quality of material. Right. And good quality of material costs money. To find manufacturers, the manufacturers that are giving you things according to the sizes that are in America. You might have a Chinese Tew-X is an American's large. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's about fitting, it's about quality, it's about, you know, it's just about just money. It's just money, and it's about creativity. You can be on the creative tip. You can sit on your iPad, you can design this, you can design that, but
if you ain't putting it out there.
No, it's about bringing it to life now.
Right.
It's about bringing it to life. Me, I don't know how to draw, I don't know how to do nothing. All I know how to do is have things, you know, pictured in my mind. I call my guy and I say, listen, well, make this design and put this in there, put this color in there, put that color in there. That's what I know how to do. So I don't own a machine. I don't know how to sew nothing. I'm just a guy that just knows in my mind, I can create a good vision and have an individual on the other end execute it.
So you're like, no Diddy, but you're like a Diddy He's not a real producer.
No, that don't matter to me. Like, I think P. Diddy is a very creative thing. You know what I mean? He's a creative person.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He's a creative person.
He doesn't know how to be a producer. He doesn't know how to make beats, but he knows how to, the vision. He sees how it's supposed to come out.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the beauty of everything. Like, I got a homeboy. Shout out to Loverboy. I got a homeboy. Man, he's one of the, like, he's a very creative person. Like, he can turn nothing into something. You know what I'm saying? And I guess, I don't know, shout out to the Aquarius, because I'm an Aquarius, right? I think that's just our thing. Like, we're creators. Like, we like to create things. And like I said, I grew up, a lot of my homeboys, we grew up fresh. We grew up fly. You know, so we was wearing, like, you know, North Face, Structure, Abercrombie, Signal. We was wearing a lot of that stuff, like, back in the day. And, you know, shout out to, you know, one of my big homies, you know, rest in peace, you know, Robert Allen. One of the best, my homie Myron Mills. They're some of my mentors, whereas though I got fashion from. I got fashion from these guys, and I looked at these guys, so I seen a lot of guys come up, you know, and make it happen.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah, so what are some of the challenges with being a business owner? Because, like you said, people feel like you're home all day, you're just laying in the bed. They don't, you know, they don't understand all what is entailed to being a business owner. So what are some of those challenges that you face?
Resources, especially financial resources. Yo, it takes money to make money. It takes money. You can have the idea in your head. Like, how many times have you guys had an idea in your head, but at the end of the day, one thing was missing. It was resources. It was money. It was capital. So sometimes, you know, using my own money can sometimes be frustrating, and sometimes learning the game as far as building business credit. You know, starting an LLC. You know, paying taxes and things. I mean, of course, they are the things that come afterwards, but to, you know, building business credit and understanding it, and like I said, and marketing.
Right.
Like, you cannot have a business and, you know, oh, I don't use social media, I don't be on social media, I don't be. No, you can't, then you don't want a business then.
Right.
So unless you have a person that's going to be the front person of your business and they deal with anything, but you need to use social media, and you need to market, you need to find your target, you know, target marketing your audience, you know what I'm saying? So it's a lot that goes in, it's a lot that I'm learning, and I ask people 1,000 questions sometimes. I call people, I send people stuff, what do you think about this, what do you think about that, let me get your opinion on this, that. And I know some people probably like, damn, this, he's sending me this, blah, 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 but they not knowing, I'm just trying to, like, yo, what do you think? You know what I'm saying? What do you think about this? Like, you know, because I tell them all the time, like, me sending you this, I'm just asking for your opinion, basically. But you call me all day and worry me now. You want to talk my head off about, you know, some relationship that you're in. You know what I mean? So, goddamn, get on board. Right. So I just think that it's finances. It's finances. Finances and it's finances. It's money.
What do you think about the new wave about brands are collabing together?
I think that's dope. I think that's really, really dope. I think that's really dope. That's dope. I think that as people of a dark hue race, I think we need to be able to do that. We need to be able to, you know, come together and collab, and because we are fashion, we set the trends. Nothing moves without us. But a lot of us don't really truly understand that. So we are fashion. You know, shout out to all the brands from where I'm from. You know, because I can't speak about the brands from where I'm not from. I mean, I can speak about the global brands because we all wear global stuff. You know, I got on Gap cargos right now, my shirt. So it's shout out to all, but I think we all need to collab. I think artists meeting artists, you know, and putting it out there, but I guess it's so much division on a smaller scale, whereas though it's And sometimes, you know, a person going, no, I ain't collabing with this person. But at the same time, you want to collab with an established name. That's what you, that's Gucci, that's Lord. Come on, man. Like, you know, we make those companies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But collabing is dope. Collabing is really, really dope. Collabing is really dope.
So would you be open to a collab on a Baltimore local?
I collab all the time. Like I have a seamstress, right? That she's worked for the minds of, she's worked for Dolce & Gabbana, she's worked with Vogue magazines, she worked with Diddy, she worked with a lot of people. It's just I don't talk about it, but we collab in a lot of things. You know what I mean? And she has her own brand, but she sells her brand. She has a store-based store in New York City. You know what I mean? But she lives here, so we collab a lot. Like, you know what I mean? We
I see you had something down here on the floor.
What's that?
one of my sweatshirts. This is one of my good sweatshirts for Song Couture Baltimore. So I hear that you kind of like, you're going to be somewhere else in a minute. So
thank you. I
shout out
appreciate
to
that.
you,
I'm going to promote this. Definitely.
Definitely. So
Definitely.
that's one of my sweatshirts.
Appreciate that.
Definitely.
You got my favorite color in it too, red.
A red. Oh, I got something red that's actually coming out maybe tomorrow.
Okay.
Red sweatshirt, white embroidery, red shorts too. So I got something red coming out tomorrow. So
Thank you.
you know, I appreciate that.
No problem.
I appreciate y'all for inviting me on. Like this is like dope. My homeboy always said, "Why don't you get a podcast? Why don't you do a podcast?" I'm like, that's not my thing.
Listen.
But you know, like I said, I definitely look forward to coming back. You know, to visit you guys, and even if you somewhere else, you know, we can kind of, you know, still, you know, do it together. But on an entrepreneurial piece and on a fashion piece, I just try to put the best out there I can.
Right.
The best quality, the best material. I just try to put it out there. Like I said, Fear God, the dude, Jerry Lorenzo, right? I was watching something, one of his, you know, his story of how he came about. And he said he doesn't, he don't have a time period where as though he puts this out or, you know, spring or fall. He doesn't have, he said he just think of things and just create them and put them out there. You know what I'm saying? He just because if you look at things, right? What's this month? This is April, so we go into May. Mid-June, right? July, you gotta start making stuff for the fall.
Yep.
That's a unique thing about this. So people will say, "Oh, it's too hot. You brought this out, that out." No. Mid-June, July, you're supposed to be starting on. You think, well, most fashion designers are thinking about the fall right now, what they're going to put out there. Me, I'm a fall winter guy. Like I'm spring, fall, winter. I'm a fall winter guy because I like to wear the hoodies, the coats. Because in the summer, what you gonna be really creative about? A t-shirt,
trying to keep cool.
Yeah, you trying to keep cool. So, like I said, you know, shout out to all the brands that are in Baltimore that are doing their thing. Right. And hopefully, I want everybody to make it. But, you know, me, I'm coming. I'm coming.
We see you. We see you.
I'm coming.
You here. You here.
Yeah.
You ain't coming. You here.
I'm coming.
I'm waiting. I have another custom piece. I'm waiting.
Oh man, we're not gonna talk about that. But you know, I got you. I definitely.
I have another custom piece I'm waiting on. I'm excited about it. I want to get it before it's hot.
So did your god sister like the
My
shirt?
cousin. No, she hasn't received it yet.
She know you got it?
No.
Oh my gosh, you should
You
She'll
holding
get
it?
it.
You holding it?
She likes black. She likes black as well. No, I haven't.
No, because every time I see it, she's like, Vats, I need something in black. I'm like, oh. But one thing I do realize that in everything that you come out with, you gotta have your blacks, your grays, and your, you know, navy. You know, you gotta have black, gray, and navy because those are the colors of people, you know, the staple pieces, and most people, like even just coming out something with just my logo embroidered or just simple. I notice a lot. Thank you. I notice a lot of people like just plain, clean. You know, so.
I don't know. I like the plain slate because then I like to do the shoes or, depending on what it is, the sweater. But everything else, I just like to go with the all black. So yes, I'm excited about my black on black. Black on black on black.
Yeah.
You got some sneakers to match?
Black on, oh, of course, I have all my sneakers except for maybe these, you know, but pretty much all my
A lot of
sneakers
times,
black.
and a lot of times when I be creating stuff in my mind, like if I put out something, I'll make something specifically for me, right? Based on some sneakers I had, and people. And I don't want to put it out there in abundance because I know everybody may not like it.
Right.
But when I put it out there, oh, well, when that's coming? So I'm saying to myself, oh, damn. You know, but it's still, I still got to put it out there so people can kind of pretty much see. Like I said, my brand is based on also being limited. So it's my concept is this, you got it, you don't. So just catch up with me when the next thing comes out. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm trying to create that type of concept. So if I put out something, it's going to be limited, but I try to drop something like every 2 weeks. You know, every 2 weeks try to come out with something cool, something I feel as though is dope, something I feel as though is fly. Like my mentality that I used when I was out in the world, I don't deviate from that.
Right. Can you, before we go, can you give us the definition of your clothing brand?
So, façon actually means way. It's a French word, way. And it means fashion, way in French. So it's pronounced façon. Or if you want to put the asterisk, they pronounce it façon. So this is façon couture.
Okay.
Did you say
Façon.
French in school?
Way. No, I ain't take no French. I was actually sitting in my basement,
I didn't take French in Northeast.
because I actually looked at, I was a problem child in school, so I was thinking about other, but I was actually, how I came about it, I was like, what does fashion mean in French, Italian, and Ethiopian? I said, damn, this sounds cool. You know what I mean? Sometimes we always want to something sound really smooth, like Lacoste. That's French. It actually only means tiger.
Crazy.
But
that's good. I like that.
I appreciate that.
All right, so let's go into our last segment, the Second Amendment. So Tommy, what do you think are the pros and cons of the current gun laws? There's a lot of lawsuits going on right now, and the Supreme Court has been making some rulings and kind of opening things up for the Second Amendment, which is the right to bear arms. Pretty much they're saying that the right to bear arms means that we all should be able to own, carry, protect ourselves freely without all of these laws and rules and fees and taxes.
I get that. I mean, I understand that. I don't think everybody should have a gun, though. I don't give a damn if you don't have a criminal record or if you have a criminal record. I don't think that everyone should have a gun, should own a firearm, because sometimes people, when it comes to a situation, when altercation that happens, people are reacting off of an emotional stance. An emotional stance gives power to an ego, and then somebody gets seriously hurt. I don't think everybody should have a gun.
Yeah, I think what a lot of people don't understand are even in those 28, I think now 29 states that are constitutional or permitless carry, which now you're talking about more than half the country. That's
Permitless carry?
Yeah, more than half the country does not require a permit. We have 29 states now. So 29 out of 29 states do not require a permit. However, it means that no, I don't have to take a class, I don't have to get a permit through the state and all these things to own. But if you do own, it's under the understanding that you wouldn't meet that criteria. You wouldn't meet the criteria of a background check. You wouldn't meet the criteria of that questionnaire in terms of your background. So it's not just free for anybody to own. It's understood that I meet this criteria, and through that.
So you actually can go buy a gun from the store, but they will do a background check to see if that you are, permissible to have a handgun.
Not in those states, no.
You can just go to the store.
You can just go to the store. What states is that?
It's a lot. Texas has been, we hear about Texas often. The latest two were South Carolina and I think Atlanta. were the latest two within the past couple of months that went.
Because I know in Texas, when I see a lot of things on the internet, they got their pistols, you can see them.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
They're open carry.
So, and then the laws of those states are very different from, like, that stand your ground thing. It's like that's a law that justifies everything.
Well, it depends. Some states are, like for instance, I know Florida is definitely stand your ground, but you know, it still has to be able to defend yourself in court in the event that you do.
I think a lot of them southern states are stand your ground. I think Atlanta is like stand your ground in some aspect. Some parts of Georgia is. Georgia is Georgia. Atlanta's in Georgia. I know Maryland. We got some of the craziest laws here.
Yeah.
We got some of the. Maryland is like, to me. Maryland is a police state to me. It's a police state to me. Like, Maryland is a police state to me. We don't have any self-defense laws here. We have something that's, that kind of can guide you into, but in self-defense, but...
Yeah, Maryland is duty to retreat. So if you can avoid the situation, that's what you're supposed to do. You're only supposed to react in the event that you cannot avoid the situation if someone is of imminent danger to you. But Maryland does have the castle doctrine, which means that if you enter someone's home, they do have a right to protect their home.
Private cabin,
You do have the right to protect your home.
That's just like I say, in Maryland, like the first degree assault laws in Maryland is crazy. Like, if somebody hits you, you're supposed to call the police. It says that you cannot be provoked. If a person strikes you, you are to call 911. And that's crazy. So at the same time, again, self-defense. That's just even if you own a firearm. If you shoot somebody, I think from the waist down, it's assault. From the waist up, it's attempted murder.
Well, I've never heard that.
I've seen cases like that. I've seen cases like
I've done a lot of training in the state of Maryland. I've never.
No, what I'm saying by that is not that's where you can shoot them at, because if you shoot a person waist down, you can paralyze a person. You can, unless you hit a main artery, you can kill them. But it's assault. But if you shoot a person from the waist up, you have more chance of killing a person.
Well, you do, but usually when you do like carry concealed courses and things like that, the Maryland law, because that's all incorporated, they teach you to do center mass, because when you are aiming for the head, arm, legs, those are smaller parts, right? They're easy to hit, and you risk the chance of hitting someone else. So you're really trained to do center mass, because you have to keep in mind what's behind that person. So if you're trying to, it's harder to hit a leg than it is to hit center mass.
Yeah. No, I was explaining from the aspect of, if you do shoot someone, that's the charges, the charging aspect of it. But I mean, of course, you wanna, if you shooting somebody, center mass, like from a legal perspective. But I'm just saying, once it all boils down to the charging documents, you know what I mean? What would you be charged with if you shoot somebody? If you remember, I don't know if y'all remember, a few years ago, a person owned a gun. He shot somebody and left.
Oh yeah.
He left the scene.
No, you're required to call 911 immediately.
Do you know a lot about guns, like the name brands? And
Yeah, Smith and Wesson. I know a lot about. I'm just not permissible to carry a gun, but I know a lot about guns.
What would be your go-to?
Glock.
Oh my God.
He's an anti-Glocker.
Glock. I mean, because Glocks are the most reliable pistols. You know what I mean? That you ain't got to worry about them jamming up. A Glock just going, it's going, you know. But I used to like that SIG 357. The SIG Sauer, I like that. I remember the FBI started carrying them in 1995. Like that was like I used to like that SIG Sauer 357.
So let's go back to the. You're not permitted to carry because you have been
convicted of a felony.
And I have a problem with that. I don't make the laws or the rules, but I think it should depend on the felony, the type of crime. You know, like if it's a violent crime, then I can see the restriction. But there are some crimes that are felonies that aren't necessarily violent crimes, and if you served your time, you're not on probation and parole.
At one time in the state of Maryland, having a drug offense was a violent crime until they changed it. They changed it, I think, maybe in the late 90s, early 2000s. They changed it. It used to be a violent crime. But to me, I think my perspective on that, I think, like you just said, if a person has served their time and did certain things, come on, man, you know what I mean? But I think that if a person, in my opinion, if this person is a violent offender and they're known to, constitute violence all the time, keep the pistol out of his hand. That's just my opinion. But what made you fascinated with guns?
Me?
Yeah, one day she come past my house and said, "Where you come from?" "I'm coming from the range." And I'm like, "Yo, come from the range of what?" So I always mess with her when she come up. She always say, "Boy," in my little fanny pack, she got a little, the gun bigger than her. So I said, "How but it's a lot of, females that are into firearms now, and I guess we live in a world where things are just dangerous, man, for women and men. And then these little dumbass little kids walking around with these damn masks on,
Making it worse for themselves. What inspired you to start dealing with the firearms?
I don't know. It started off as, I guess, a protection thing. I just saw the change in what was going on in Baltimore City. And I've actually pretty much all my life through different types of employment been qualified to get a permit and own. But I felt as in my 20s and in my 30s, I didn't think I was I was responsible enough to own a firearms. Most people know I can tend to be hot-headed, bad-tempered, those types of things. And so I just knew that I just didn't need to have it, even though I could if I wanted to. But then as I got older, just looking at the crime that's going on in the city, the types of crime that was going on in the city, I felt the need to act. And then we had the Governor Hogan, as he was leaving office, decided to act on the Supreme Court ruling and change the laws from Maryland to a shall issue, from a may issue to a shall issue. The may issue, you had to justify being a business owner, a business owner that, not just a business owner, but a business owner that makes large cash deposits. Or you worked in a job such as I have, the police department. I've worked in juvenile corrections and things like that. So it went to a shall issue, which basically means as long as you pass the background check, they have to issue the permit. And so I took advantage of that to go ahead and get my permit. And I'm now licensed to carry in probably 38, 39 states.
What's it called, a Utah license?
No, I have several licenses. Oh, yeah, so different states had reciprocity with different states. So I have quite a few. I do have Utah, Florida, Washington D.C., Maryland, Pennsylvania. But through those, I can carry legally in 38 out of 50 states. You carrying in all those states if you go there? It depends.
Can you fly with a firearm?
You can. You have to just check it in. It's a different process. You have to have a TSA approved safe. It has to have certain types of locks and things like that. So as long as you follow those guidelines and you follow the process at the airport, you got to make sure that wherever you're landing, that you're permitted to carry in those states, and you're pretty much fine with that. But I don't know, once I owned one, and then I just started just seeing the beauty, and there's some pretty firearms out there. I don't know, I just started collecting. And
what was your first?
A Glock.
Okay.
Glock.
Okay.
Why don't you like Glocks?
I don't know, I just feel like they're like iPhones. It's overrated. Like, everybody has an iPhone.
What's your favorite?
My favorite is my FN, my tactical. It's my favorite. And then I'll go with the SIG. I'm in love with the 226.
The Navy SEAL.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the firearms, it's different firearms for different things. You know, like the Glock is reliable, but it isn't a lot of frills with the Glock. It is one of those that offer a lot of, there are a lot of aftermarket parts where you can customize your Glock. I wouldn't recommend customizing all the parts of it because you don't want to interfere with their reliability. But you know, like that one I think is good for everyday carry. But then you have some other ones out there that really, some steel frames. I'm looking at one that's in chrome. I mean, they get pretty creative with these guns. So.
I got a guy I know, man, that I'm cool with, man. He loves guns. Like, I mean, he's a legal gun owner, but I was talking to him the other day. I was like, man, what's going on, man? I see you, bro. He said, Fast, I'm into guns. He said he got like about 100 guns. I was like, wow. He said, he collect them, and he said, I guess he ready to start a podcast about,
Oh, you need to connect me to him.
About just guns, period.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? About just guns, period. So I was like, man, that's dope.
My collection, I'm sure I'll probably be there one day, but it's a very expensive hobby. Very expensive hobby.
I didn't know them firearms was that expensive.
Very expensive.
Very expensive.
I have my favorite one, which is the FN. As I tried his FN at the range. It's good when you go to the range with friends and people that have different things, because in that way you get to try out other things. So I tried out his FN. I fell in love with it. I got one myself, but just all the things that I've added onto my FN, it's like $2,300 that I put into it. Just that one fire.
So how many guns do you have?
I don't have that many right now.
I think you're one of those people that's going to become obsessed. You're like, how many guns you actually this time? How many guns you got? I got 10.
I'm already there. I'm beyond the obsessed. I'm beyond the obsessed point. I have a whole wish list, and I just, when I get ready to knock out that next one.
I ain't even gonna lie. A person such as myself, where I'm at now in life, I could probably legally want to carry a firearm, but I really don't want to. You know what I mean? I don't.
But you have some people that don't even have the permit. They have the HQL, which gives you the right to possess them in your home. Gives you the ability to buy, because it's two different permits. The CCW is a permit to carry, but you have to have the HQL first, and that gives you the legal rights to purchase and possess in your home. And so you do have some that don't carry, conceal, but they have extensive collection.
Yeah, like a person such as myself, and I can only be real with myself, like me being able to legally carry a firearm wouldn't be good. Because I know me, I just know me. I'm not going to escalate the situation. Right. You know what I mean? I'm definitely not going to escalate the situation, but I ain't going to let you escalate the situation either.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because when you escalate the situation, it makes me like, you know what I mean? Yep. So a person like me to legally walk around with a firearm, I don't think that's for me.
Yeah, it definitely.
Because it's not for me, because at some points, like I said, I'm not going to escalate the situation. I ain't going to let you escalate the situation, because I know sometimes, other men and egos, and they get around people.
That rah-rah.
Yeah, and I'm going to silence you quick. So it's not good for me. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of good. I probably can't carry a firearm legally.
Understood.
It's good for me.
You want to close out?
Yeah,
No.
go ahead.
No, I'm good.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for joining us for this podcast today.
Yes, our first one. It's in the books.
And I thank them for allowing me to be able to come on to just share just whatever information, things about myself, or just, being able to exude just certain things on certain topics. So I definitely appreciate you guys.
We'll have you back again soon.
Yeah, whenever. I'll definitely come back.
And thank you again for this.
Anytime. Like I said, just Fasan_Couture, Instagram. Hit me up. I don't care if I gotta get it to you today, tomorrow, next week, you will get it whenever you buy it.
Peace.
All right, we're out.
Peace.
What it mean to be the best? Riding foes, feeling unimpressed, make me reminisce. Throwing bows, been in the corner, set my mind up on the goal. All I know is stay down, bad, I'm the GOAT. Okay, feel like the best, the great. Now ain't no debate.